Hey everybody, Saturday afternoon. We're getting ready to get right into the storm. Sorry for once again for the lack of updates. I've been kind of preparing things at work, preparing things at home with the family, getting everything together, getting everything in order. We got a big one coming. It's looking like. Let's hope the models don't verify what they're showing. I'm currently hunkered down at work. Um, my industry is I run a water treatment plant. We are responsible for sending water out to the public here. So I'm here. I'll be here for the duration of the storm and what's to come afterward, making sure operations here go on. So thank you to everybody that's out there that has to be in this fire, EMS, police, and also thank you to all the water workers and others that kind of are often forgotten in our industry that we're there all the time and we just we're not thought of much, but that's okay. Um, Anyhow, let's get right into it. This is our current radar. This is our storm. It's pretty massive. It's all the way from New Mexico. This thing stretches all the way from Mexico to pretty much Maine, northeast. I don't know if I've ever seen a winter storm this strong. I really don't. Um, this massive. I mean, just look at this. It's crazy. So we got the precip moving in now. Um, Moving in from the west, so through the day it's going to start picking up. So let's kind of just get right into the model details. Let's kind of see what this is showing here. It has our start time. Timestamps once again up here at the left. Um, about 6 o'clock. We're at 3 o'clock right now, so this model showing it comes in at 6 o'clock this afternoon and evening. Once again, the pink is freezing rain, peach is sleet, blue is snow. It gets going, gets heavy, continues all night. Just look at this. All that purple. That is heavy, heavy, freezing rain. This model's not painting much sleet. We want more sleet. That'll limit some of the power outages. So look at that. We're going in tomorrow morning, still freezing rain. Overnight, freezing rain. In the morning, freezing rain. Noon, we've still got heavy freezing rain coming down. Going in tomorrow afternoon, this is tomorrow evening now. More than 24 hours heavy freezing rain before it starts pushing out later tomorrow evening and the cold air crashes in. Could end as a little snow on the back end of it. Not a guarantee, so that's kind of our start time here. This is these are one of our shorter term models now. This is rapid refresh model. Let me adjust this just a minute. There we go. This is now we're kind of able to get a better idea of what's going on with our short term models. This is rapid refresh. So let's see what this thing's kind of pointing out for our total preset. This thing is painting. All right, once again, right along that I-85 40 corridor, 3/4 of an inch or more of ice. Once again, just a 1/4 inch starts causing problems. 1/2 inch, you're looking at major. 3/4 an inch, extensive. Um, let's just hope this does not verify, guys. We don't want this to happen, but it's a possibility. I don't know if I buy these high totals because I think we're going to have more sleet mix in. Sometimes the models, they really can't. They underestimate the depth of the cold air. When cold air damage comes down the eastern side of the mountains, you can't quite grasp the strength of it. So I think that cold air is going to hang on a little bit longer, not to have us as snow, but have us in sleet a little bit longer. Like I said before, if you wake up tomorrow morning and we got rain, what looks like rain coming down, and ice is building up, it's going to be terrible. If we still have them ice pellets coming down, we're holding on to that sleet a little bit longer. That's what we want. Um, this model's pointing less, pointing out less than an inch of sleet. So that's why we're this one particular one is showing more freezing rain than sleet, because in the upper levels of the atmosphere, it shows that cold level layer being a little more shallow. So that's why it's what's putting out more freezing rain than sleet. Let's look at our national blended models. This once again is a run that takes all of the models, puts them into one, and then kind of averages them out. This has been average. This has kind of came down from about a 1/2 inch to between a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch for our area. So that's good that it's trended down. I think it's kind of catching on to that cold air being a little bit more stronger than in the upper levels, or the cold air being more not as shallow, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Um, so it's kind of picking up on that. This doesn't specifically show freezing rain amounts, so we can just look at sleet amounts. Or so precise, it doesn't show sleet amounts, just shows freezing rain. So if we look at the total moisture by QPF, this is putting out about 1.5 inches of liquid. So if we go with a ratio of 10 to 1, which typically is. If this point puts out about 3/10 to a half inch of freezing rain, that would mean we would get 2.5 inches of sleet, according to this model, if it was sleet, freezing rain. Once again, this one does not take sleet into account. This is the HRR. This is another shorter term model. This one doesn't go out as far, it only goes out 18 hours. But once again, here we go. It picks up the start time a little bit later, between 6 and 8. But once it gets here at 8, it goes to sleet for I-40, I-85, more freezing rain. So for south of 85, freezing rain, north of I-40, more sleet. And it just thumps us going into 2 in the morning. 6 in the morning, heavy, heavy freezing rain. This is the second short-term model showing a majority of it being freezing rain. This is scary. Once again, they don't quite estimate the depth of the cold air. So, but you see these darker pockets right here? It's going to be what we call thunder sleet. So what that is pretty much a thunderstorm with ice falling out of the sky. That is a real possibility overnight tonight. You may hear thunder outside and go outside and there's literally ice falling from the sky. It's very rare, but we are in a perfect setup for that to happen. We pretty much have a thunderstorms coming through, but it's cold enough for winter weather. If I turn off what this radar looks like as far as what types it is, it would pretty much look like thunderstorms coming through. So let's turn off the types and just see what it looks like by itself. This just looks like a summertime heavy rain thunderstorm event, except this is going to be freezing rain and sleet. It's a winter weather event, so it's interesting to see. Don't be surprised if you actually do hear a few rumbles of thunder tonight, and in the morning. With that being said, plan on going to sleep tonight with power and waking up without power. A lot of you, that's going to be the case of the possibility. So let's see this one. This one does kind of separate the sleet and the freezing rain. This one here, once again, another shorter term model that backs off on the sleet amounts, increases the freezing rain amounts, although it's got that drier air kind of punching in a little bit more, so we may trend back on the actual liquid amounts falling from the sky. This one puts out about 3/10 of an inch to a half inch. Still pretty moderate to major, but not as bad as 3/4 of an inch. Folks, if we get 3/4 of an inch or more of ice anywhere, it's going to be devastating for power grids. That's going to happen somewhere between I-85 and I-40 down into the upstate of South Carolina near Charlotte. That's a given. It's going to happen somewhere in that zone. We just aren't sure yet because we just don't know. We can't see the upper levels of the atmosphere in real time until it's actually happening. So it's kind of like a best guess. Our best guess right now is it's going to be in that area. This is another shorter term model. This is the NAM. I will say the NAM is one of the medium term models where it was depicting a lot more freezing rain, has trended more to sleet. So it's picking up on that cold level being a little more, not as shallow, and showing more sleet. So the NAM starts us off just like the other ones, right around 6, 7 o'clock tonight. Now, folks, when this stuff starts, it's going to start fast. You need to be off the roads when this starts coming down because it's going to accumulate quick. It's been below freezing out there all day. Currently, it's 25 out there right now, and the temperatures fall, and they're going to fall through the day. We also have evaporational cooling. So you see returns on the radar right now, but you don't see anything coming out of the sky. That's because the precipitation is falling, but it's evaporating before it hits the ground. When that happens, it cools the air that much more. Much like in the summertime, like when you sweat, it evaporates, and that's what cools your body. Our atmosphere works the same way. So the NAM, we like the NAM. What we hate all of this, by the way. But if we're going to have to pick a model run, we need this one to verify. This one's keeping us majority sleet for the most of the event. Good 80% of this storm, the NAM is showing us sleet. We want that to verify. Now, granted, if we have 4, 5, 6 inches of sleet, the roads are going to stay worse longer. So we're going to have longer impacts for when we can drive. Although the power failures will be less. So take the good with the bad. On the other end of it, if we have more freezing rain than sleet, the roads will be bad. Don't underestimate that, but they won't have that thick ice sheet on them. So they'll kind of clear off a little quicker, but we'll have more massive power failure. So it's kind of like pick your poison. You want the power failures not to be as much, but you're going to be stuck in place for a longer amount of time, or do you want to be stuck in place for a long amount of time, but with power. Me, I don't want none of it, but that's where we're at right now. So anyway, this is going through the night, man. This is heavy, heavy sleep. 10 o'clock, midnight, 4 in the morning. This goes through 6 in the morning. This isn't just a heavy rain coming in and out. This is 6 in the morning, 8 in the morning. Now look at this. Once again, you see these heavier pockets right here, the darker spots. That is thunder sleep, thunder rain. It's interesting. There's so much energy coming through the atmosphere, and then another super. This is a line of thunderstorms coming through tomorrow, not tomorrow afternoon and evening. It's 6, 7 o'clock. This model shows a line of thunderstorms coming through. There will be thunder and lightning, but there will be ice falling from the sky. So this is crazy. To just kind of wrap your head around the dynamics of what's going on here. I'll turn this just to reflectivity so you can kind of turn off. But look at this, guys. You would look at this radar and say, wow, that looks like a springtime frontal thunderstorms coming through. That's exactly what it looks like. We have a lot of energy, but look at all these little individual cells here. So we got Winston-Salem here, Greensboro, we got Statesville here, Charlotte, the state of South Carolina. All these individual cells, those are thunderstorms. We are going to have thunder sleet at times. This one tomorrow evening around 7 o'clock. Heavy thunderstorms coming through. So we've got heavy precipitation. Once it starts today, it's going to go all night, all day tomorrow afternoon, and tomorrow night before it starts finally pushing out of here later tomorrow night. So we've got 24 to 30, 36 hours of a pretty substantial event coming through. This is another shorter term model. This one doesn't have the different types, but it just kind of shows the start time once again around 5 or 6, starting around there, and then just heavy precip all the way through to 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. Look at this, guys. This line of thunderstorms. This model again shows a line of thunderstorms coming through tomorrow about 5 or 6 o'clock. Now, a second thing to keep in mind, with thunderstorms comes wind. We're going to have ice on these trees out here and power lines. We have wind to come on that. That's going to just add to bringing those trees down. Wind and ice is going to just make those trees come down that much more, guys. I hope you guys are ready for what's coming. It's looking scary. I'm not trying to scare everybody. I just want you to kind of be ready, be prepared. So these are kind of our different charts here that I kind of show up. This is the Euro. The Euro is still painting about. So this is our longer term models, but you can kind of look at them in the short term. I just want to peek at this to look at the storms that are coming later next weekend that we've kind of been hearing about. The signals are there still for a storm in the southeast right now. It just kind of pushes it further off to the south. But like with this one, things trend north, so we'll keep an eye on that. But the Euro is still showing just less than an inch of freezing rain. Terrible, right? Yes. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is better than what it was showing with 2 inches. To utter the words, I'd rather get an inch of freezing rain. I can't. But it's better than what it was showing when it was showing 2.5 inches of freezing rain. It's still not showing any sleep, but we're down to about an inch of freezing rain, so we have to keep an eye on that. This is high-low temperatures, the average of the year, what it's showing for the next couple days. Lows going down into the teens still. It's still showing those drastic low temperatures. This is the same chart for the GFS. This is the thermal environment, still showing that why we're getting ice here. But I'm just looking at this to peek into next week. So if we do get any moisture in here next week, right now the GFS is keeping all of it to the south. Look at the upper layers of the atmosphere. All of the upper layers of the atmosphere are cold enough to support snow. So this storm, if it were to throw moisture up here, and the upper layers of the atmosphere were to be what it looks like right now, it would be predominantly snow. So if we were going to get a winter storm next weekend, let's pull for snow. Let's never have what's about to happen again. I truly believe, I told my son earlier on, I said, I think this storm right here, if it happens the way it could, you will remember this when you're my age. You'll be talking about the ice storm of 2026. Let's hope that's not the case, but that's kind of where we are right now. This is the SREF. This is another shorter term model. This one has backed off some on the freezing rain amounts, but it still gives us a widespread 0.3 to ½ inch of freezing rain. It's not good. But with the ones that are showing less freezing rain. As you can see here, the sleet totals are higher, 2.5 to 3 inches of sleet. Once again, something that you don't say out loud a whole lot, even in the winter. 3 inches of sleet, what? That's crazy. But it's where we are. 3 inches of sleet is better than an inch of freezing rain. So, like I said, with the sleet, the roads are going to be impacted longer, but the power grid won't be impacted as bad. I'm pulling for that because it's going to get brutally cold. I don't want anybody to be stuck in place with this brutal cold and no power. There's going to be places that are just going to be without power for a while. I can't stress enough the cold air that's coming through, how cold it's going to be. Like I said earlier on, go outside right now when it was like 28 degrees. Stand out there. You're going to feel cold. Tuesday morning, even the best insulated house, inside, that's how it's going to feel with temperatures around 0 degrees outside. It's going to be in the 30s inside. If you don't have any way to heat it, that's what it's going to feel like. So be ready for that. Be prepared for that. It's coming here. This is North American model. This is kind of a summary of what it's showing. It's showing actually a little less than 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain. It backed off again. That's really good, but it's showing 2.5 inches of sleet. The NAM has backed off on freezing rain. We want that trend to continue. This is another shorter term model. This is one that's showing heavier freezing rain amounts. The one we looked at the radar all the way around, so we got to kind of hope that doesn't verify. Same for this one. This one's showing higher freezing rain amounts. This, I believe, is the North American Model 3KM. Yep, things hitting up. There we go. All right, so winter weather impacts. Here we are. We have a 90% chance of seeing a winter storm. Well, actually, a near 100% chance of seeing a winter storm from New Mexico down into Texas, all the way up into Iowa, all the way east to Maine. I have never, ever seen such a large area be impacted by winter weather or any weather event for that effect than what I'm seeing right now. This storm is so massive. It's going to impact so many people. And that's the other thing I was thinking, guys, we've had regional ice storms, we've had regional hurricanes, we've had regional different events that knock out power for a certain area, or a big storm that impacts a certain area of the country. This is impacting all of the major population centers from Dallas up to St. Louis, Oklahoma City, all the way east to Washington, D.C., up to New York City, down south to Charlotte, to Atlanta, all in the scope of 2 days. So, like, if the power goes out, these power grid people, the guys out there working the lines, are going to be stretched so thin that it's going to take a while longer to get back power. We're not just talking about a little spot. Like, say, the Triad area is getting a big ice storm, but Charlotte's going to be fine. Richmond's going to be fine, so we can dedicate all of our resources to there. This storm is so massive that the power crews and everybody else are going to be spread so thin that it's going to take that much longer to get the power restored. So keep that in the back of your mind. All right, so here we are. Here's Winston-Salem, High Point, Greensboro, Salisbury, Charlotte, down in here. This is the percentage of chance of getting 1/4 of an inch of freezing rain or more. We're sitting at over 70% chance of seeing 1/4 inch or more of freezing rain. Once again, 1/4 inch of freezing rain starts bringing down tree limbs and starts giving you power outages. If I were to tell you, folks, we have an 80% chance of showers today, you'd bring an umbrella. You'd pay attention. That's what I'm saying. We have an 80% chance of seeing a big enough storm to bring down power outages. It's pretty much set in stone. It's just going to be worse for some areas than others. I'm particularly concerned for those of you out here along that, if you got anybody watching or know anybody that are right along that eastern escarpment of the Blue Ridge is northwest of Greensboro, south of Asheville. Anybody in this area here, the Shelby area, the Clayton area, let's see some other areas here. I'm not even going to try and pronounce some of these names. Cedar Mountain area, Sega Lake, Mine Mountain area, Wolf Creek, Mills River area. These areas are going to get over an inch of freezing rain. This area in here is going to be it's going to be terrible. About 40 miles west of Greenville, about that area there, right along the I-85 corridor, Mountain City, Clayton, anywhere in this purple area here. Guys, be ready. I mean, this is going to be terrible. I've got a few people that I know up in this area, so if you live up in this area here, this darker purple, you know it's devastating, catastrophic. Insert whatever big word you can think of. Ice storm. Um, Thankfully, I mean, I don't want to say thankfully we're only getting a half inch of freezing rain because that's terrible to say in itself. But if we were to get this widespread up here, like it was kind of showing before, and it's still a possibility to get 3/4 of an inch or more up in this area, um, it's just looking terrible. So let's look at our winter storm impact. We'll start with what the impacts mean. So we're pretty much locked in for a 100% chance of a moderate winter storm. What does moderate mean? Hazardous driving is going to be the case. Extra caution, closures and disruptions to infrastructure is going to occur. That's a sure bet right now. Let's move that on up to a major winter storm. We're pretty much right there at about a 50% chance, 60% chance of a major winter storm. What does major mean? Considerable disruptions to daily life, dangerous and impassable driving, avoid travel, widespread closures and disruptions to infrastructure will occur. That's pretty much right along, once again, that I-40 line, I-85 line. That's pretty much where this major winter storm is going to be impactful the most. The greatest impacts being over here in, down just northwest of Greenville. My map's loading slow, so I can't really load anytime. But Clayton, Hendersonville, that area there. This little bullseye here, just northwest of between Greenville, Spartanburg, and Asheville, and that corridor between, I think it's I-26 and I-40. That's where you're going to get the worst of the worst. So be ready for it. We'll kind of go through some galleries, things that I had here. Once again, like I said, I have never seen a winter storm as massive as what this one is. Look at this, guys. Albuquerque, almost Phoenix to Maine. So Arizona to Maine. All and everybody in between is getting impacted from this winter storm outside of Florida. We'll probably never see a map like this again. Hopefully, we'll never see a map like this again in our life. This is a once in a lifetime thing, possibly here. If this verifies, this winter storm will be a once in a lifetime event. Let's hope and pray that it's just a once in a lifetime event. Look how many population centers are impacted by a winter storm warning. 150 million people right now are under a winter storm warning. That's insane to think about. 50 million people under extreme cold warning, 40 million people under cold weather advisory, 21 million people under ice storm warnings. Pretty much 225 million people right now are impacted by some sort of warning. That's insane, guys. I mean, the population of the United States is only 300 and some million. More than 70% of the population right now is being impacted by this winter storm. Once again, hopefully, we will never, ever see this again in our lifetimes. That is my hope. That is my prayer. So let's look through. I think I had a few other ones I was going to show you. Not kind of running low on the time here that I have on this little free video thing. But anyway, guys, hope everybody is hunkered down and everybody's safe. We'll keep you in our prayers. Pray for us as we're here. We're going to keep the water going out. I pray for your family's safety. If I can pray for you, let me know too. Just send a message to me. I'm happy to do that. I know the Lord looks down and takes care of us when we can. We just got to prepare and be ready for it. Be ready for the worst. Prepare for the worst. Hope for the best. Like I said, I spent a good part of my week preparing for this because not only do I have a family to take care of, I've got a water plant that I'm responsible for, getting everything lined up here, but we're here, we're ready. My family is somewhere safe. I'm happy about that. And I'm here, and we're safe at the water plant. We're going to send water. I got some good help here, so we're going to make the best of it. I'll try and do some updates as I go because I'm pretty much locked in. Don't have anything else better to do except peek at models. I may try and do a live stream if I can figure that out. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anyway, sit down, hunker down, get ready. It's going to be a fun ride, and just take care.